What is up, guys? We are live today talking about this crazy epic blindside that just happened on the fourth episode of Big Brother 19. Uh, First off, I just want to get this out of the way, just like every episode. I'm blown away by the amount of support that we've gotten. Uh, we've just been skyrocketing in subscribers, skyrocketing in views, skyrocketing in likes. It's honestly like nothing that I expected, nothing that any of us expected. So I'm super grateful for that. If you're new to the channel and you're just now seeing this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you like the video. I think I'm like my brain is fried. I've been staying up watching feeds, like I'm like out of it. So I'm going to and we got Dominic just in time, perfect. I'm gonna let Christian host this show. He's gonna try it out, so we're gonna let him take over from here. So go ahead, Christian.
What is up, everybody? Thank you for watching. Today we're going to go over a little bit of episode 3 and mostly episode 4 because episode 4 was more climactic. So first, you guys probably saw episode 3. It happened on Sunday. We had the day that Megan walked from the game. Well, it was a couple of days before, but we showed Megan walking from the game. Most of you guys know that there was a huge conversation in the backyard, and Jessica said, she's like, I don't want to go over there because Pow Pow is there. I heard, I don't want to go over there because Panda is there.
Yeah,
it definitely stirred up for some drama.
Yeah,
Definitely
that was one of the most like craziest moments in Big Brother history, honestly, because you had a case of somebody honestly, truly mishearing something, and then construing it the way that they heard it construing it the way they heard it to something completely different, completely like way off base. I mean, you still have the basis of like, okay, is calling somebody Pow Pow because they look the same because they're Asian, is that racist? I mean, you still have the basis of it, but at the same time, it's like calling somebody Panda, which is an obvious racist remark, and calling someone Pow Pow is completely different. But like, I mean, honestly, that like caused for one of the most like unique situations in Big Brother history because being called a racist or being like blamed for making up a racist comment has like significant impacts not only inside the game but outside as well. So just look at Big Brother 15 for instance. So it's like, I mean, it's honestly like one of the most unique and special cases in Big Brother. So yeah, that led to her quitting, which I mean, if I had to like take one thing away from this case scenario, I probably would have said that Jessica should have said what should have clarified what she actually said to make the situation
she never
better.
said that she called her Pow Pow.
Exactly. Jessica knew what Megan had misheard. You know what I mean? So if she just would have told Alex, like, no, I called you Pow Pow. This is a completely, out of like, it's not an out of the nowhere ordeal like Alex took it, then we could have had a different outcome.
I agree.
So Megan goes to the diary room. On the show, they made it seem like it was a day, like she was in there forever, but she was only in there for around 3.5 hours to 4 hours. Kind of know something bad's gonna happen if you don't watch the live feeds. They had Megan sitting in the chair to a distance. Notice, like she wasn't like just like a regular diary room. She looked like looked like something was wrong.
Yeah.
After that, we found out Megan did walk from the game.
Yeah. I think we could talk about.
We had.
Oh, you broke up for a second.
Was it the pendant of protection?
Yeah, I just want to talk about the Megan thing again because I do want to clarify. Like a lot of people, whenever they first heard that Megan, walked from the show, a lot of people thought that she had quit or whatever. I mean, in a way, she did quit, but I do want to clarify that she did release a statement that was approved by CBS that she had been experienced like PTSD from a time where she was like stationed at a military base and she had like been sexually abused or whatever, and all the old guys yelling, or not old guys but all the guys yelling at her in particular kind of like just triggered that PTSD. So I do want to clarify that. Also, I don't know if it's like a long shot or whatever, but if you're in the chat right now and you want to see Megan on the show, maybe you should like tweet her or something, tell her to come on. I mean, who knows? Like, we're gaining subscribers. We might be able to put something, make something happen. I don't know if you guys want to see her on the show, like just tell her about it and maybe she'll come on. I don't know.
And I think we all should note that she did say on Twitter that she did interpret what Jessica said. So at least she was being honest that she misunderstood what she said. I mean,
right. Yeah.
She was being honest.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So the next part of the episode is where, this whole episode was about Paul. Paul won the first Did a Temptation twist. Most of you guys aren't really surprised because he does have a huge fan base already. Personally, I thought the room that he was in is like absolutely amazing. I love the decor and all that. Also, one of the curses of Paul's Did a Temptation twist was he had to pick a number and they were in random order, and he had to pick a number which he couldn't see. So it was like, I think it was bottles, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. He had to push. Yeah, bottles of poison or whatever.
So he had to pick a bottle, and on the next episode it shows who gets cursed. Guys, what did you think of like the cursing? Like somebody has to go on the block one time out of the next 3 weeks.
All right.
Tyler,
Okay.
I'll start with you.
So, go ahead, Tyler.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's definitely game changing in a sense. I mean, like,
yeah,
Ramses definitely has two of his allies on the block right now, and then is gonna lose. Actually, no, I apologize, not Christmas. He has Jillian on the block, and it looks like Jillian's gonna go home right now. So, he's losing an ally. Then he has to put himself on the block in next 3 evictions. So it's definitely gonna be game changing. Especially with, I feel like the house is gonna go after Cody immensely next week. And if I was Ramses, if Cody's on the block after the POV and it's Jessica Cody sitting on the block, then I would most definitely want to be on the block at that time because I don't think any of them are going to touch me.
Right. So, I'll just start about the whole like pendant of protection thing. So, okay, we don't even like I don't even feel like I have to say it. Like we all know, production knew. The producers knew that, Paul going into the house was going to be targeted as a vet right away, and there would be no sense of bringing him back, probably paying him extra stipend or whatever, for him to go home right away. So they knew what they were doing with the whole twist thing, because if he didn't have that pendant of protection necklace or whatever, he was going home. So him winning the pendant of protection was no like surprise to anybody. It was a part of the script of the show. Like, I don't even think like it should be considered as a twist. I mean, it's a script, honestly. But like, the thing that's most interesting about it is the fact that everybody was so like surprised and nobody saw it coming, because like, okay, so Cody's obviously not telling you what he's doing. So that means Cody is making a move, right? So if you're a player sitting in the game, or even if you're Paul, you should know that, okay, he's going to make a big move. Who's going to be the person he goes after? It's not going to be some random like Jason. If he's saying he's going to make a big move or he has got a plan, obviously he's going to go after the vet. So if Paul really made out of the situation fine. Like Paul, nothing, like he said in the freaking episode, he said, I'm going to play this as a victim and turn it around on him. He basically did that. But if there was one way he could have like maybe not prevented it, but if he could have prevented it, he could have read it ahead of time and like basically told them that he had that. You know what I mean? If he would have done that, then he would have been scot clear. You know what I mean? He would have been perfect. But because I do think later in the show, down the road, later in the game, if they're trying to look for a reason not to trust Paul, they could all of a sudden say, well, he didn't tell us about the necklace, didn't tell us about the temptation, so that could be a reason to target him or whatever. So, it's going to be interesting to see, but like, okay, so now commenting on the Ramses situation, it's like such a weird it's such an unfortunate person to get cursed, because like it would have been so perfect if it was like Jessica, or it was somebody like on the side of power, Mark or Elena, somebody like that who you can't see getting targeted later down the road. But like, if the right things happen, that person could go home. Like Ramses, he's probably going to be targeted anyways. Like Like, okay, say Matt was the one HOH or something, or Mark, somebody like that was the one HOH. You know, I could so see Ramsey's going on the block. So it's like, but I mean, it's weird. So Ramsey's like a random person to get chosen. Like, it's unfortunate. I would rather have been somebody else because Ramsey's like, he could bring something to the show later down the road. Tyler, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, I agree. But I mean, for Paul, it ultimately, I don't think it really, I mean, yeah, I agree that later on after his immunity, that it could definitely work against him. Be like, oh, well, you know, you didn't tell me like why, you know, I really can't fully trust you. But for Paul, it kind of made out perfectly. I mean, it's not like any of his allies was the one that got the whatever it was, the bitten by the snake or whatever. I mean,
right.
So in that sense, I feel like, you know,
yeah, it could have. But like, it could have been so perfect if just somebody else would have got it.
Yeah, like I think it would have been more interesting if someone like Jessica, obviously,
right.
you know,
right.
But
all right, Christian, Nick, what do you got first next, man?
I wanna give a point on it. What I really liked is how production didn't pick them. Like they didn't pick who was getting each number because I feel like that would have been really rigged. I liked how they went in like one by one. Like I wish like it was number like 9 or 10, so like you didn't know who would get it. But I really liked that aspect of it. Okay,
right.
so that was really much like all of episode 3, I believe. Wasn't really much to it. They kind of just focused on the Megan situation a lot. So we're gonna go to episode 4 now. Episode 4 picks off. We've already found out like the alliances in the house. There's a we'll call it like a huge alliance of like 8 people.
Right.
Now we have
9, right?
it may be 9.
Yeah, 8. Okay, so we can go through it real quick. So we have
Elena, Mark, Paul, Christmas, Dominique, Jessica, Cody, Raven, Matt.
Yeah, so 9.
So 9. Yeah. Well, now we'll get to it. It's like
yeah, now it's
like that now.
Not
now it's
no
like
more.
over there, like nobody's even close. So this whole episode's premise was we see Alex wins the veto. There's some questionable things that go on. We have Jillian and Alex on the block, and we have who plays in veto. It's Jason, Matt, Raven, Alex, Cody, and Jillian, right?
Right. Yeah.
So this competition is where you have to collect starfish from a pond and you have to stack them. But the twist, like the issue with it is that there's a huge water silo where you have to constantly fill it up because if not, then you have to stop. Well, then you're out. Since this is the Temptation or the Temptation season, there was one huge thing, which was a starfish. It was gold. First person to stack it will not be a have-not for the whole season. Tyler, what do you think of that?
I mean, I'm not going to say I'm really surprised that Alex won the POV. I mean, remember when he nominates Alex, he goes to her when they're in the bathroom, I think it was, and he's like, I didn't want to do that, you know, it's kind of something I had to do. So when it's towards the end and he stops, I don't think any of us were really ultimately that surprised. I think we all knew that he didn't like Paul. And that if he had the chance, he was going to, you know, try to target Paul. But honestly, let's just say that his target's Jason, all right? Let's just say he's on the script of, you know, he wants to get Jason out. He doesn't want to nominate Paul. How many stars did Jason have when he finished? Like 16 or 4, something like that, right? What if Alex would have thrown it and allowed Jason to win the POV so that he could have took her off and then, you know, saved himself? If I'm just going off the instance that if, you know, he would have wanted to go after Jason like the Alliance wanted to.
Yeah, okay, that's a great point, and I have a great point for that. So basically, this is where we separate the great Big Brother players from the okay Big Brother players, okay? Because here you have a scenario where if Alex is quick on her feet, she realizes as soon as Cody throws that competition, guess what? Jillian sucks. She's not going anywhere. She can't beat 14. I have this amount of stacked on my thing. Let me just knock it over, give it to Jason. Jason can pull me off the block. And then all of a sudden, you know, Jason can't go on the block. Yeah. So I think that's where we have a separation of the great Big Brother players and the mediocre players where these instincts, they have to you have to have that instinct and that know-how of the game to be able to pull something off like that. And that would, if Alex would have done that, like, because when I'm watching the show, immediately that's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, why doesn't she just throw this right here? She says she wants Jason to win the POV. That's the best case. Well, she can literally force that upon, she can literally force that upon this, like the competition. But, that, like I said, that's just where the instinct separates the great players from the not so great players.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree 100%.
So, since Alex wins, there was kind of an instance in it where we just talked about Cody wanted her to win, but Cody says he threw the competition, which I think is, like, he could have thrown it, but, like, also he sucked at it. Like, he only had 2. So I thought it was really pathetic. I thought it was really pathetic how he's just stopped, and we had, like, 2 minutes left. Like, I thought that was just ridiculous.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if he was throwing it, why would you want to make it so apparent to your own alliance that is wanting to, gun after Alex? I mean, you could have at least tried and, thrown it in a more believable sense, but it was retarded the way he did it. He stops. And yeah, I agree. Like, it separates the good Big Brother players from the, okay Big Brother players. I mean, if she throws it, allows Jason to win the POV, then she doesn't have to even worry about Jason being on the block, because she doesn't know that she doesn't know that he wants to go after Paul. I mean, the dude didn't tell anybody. He pretty much was just stone cold. Like,
once again, like, we have a bunch of mediocre players playing this game. One of the most important things when you're playing Big Brother is you have to be able to know how to throw a competition, and he did not in that scenario know how to throw a competition because it was obvious what he was doing. There's a lot of different ways he could have went about it, but bottom line is we saw his intentions, and that was to get Alex off that block. But the problem was that all the other players in the house also saw his intentions, and this is going to be an interesting dynamic that develops in this house, because you're going to have these two powerhouses in Alex and Cody going at it, but in a way that's like they're always going to like tell each other what's going on because they respect each other so much. So it's like later down the road, if they keep on like throwing targets at each other, I don't think Cody survives the next 2 weeks. But if they keep on throwing like, missiles at each other and they miss and they miss and they miss, if we get to jury, all of a sudden they might decide, okay, let's stop throwing missiles at each other. Let's work together. And if Cody and Alex team up, that's something to be reckoning with. That's just my opinion. And it's something to look out for, honestly, because the chemistry is there for them to work together. It's just the fact that, out of like a competition, like, a competitive, player in the game, which they both in their own respective ways are very competitive players and very, regardless of the things that Cody said or regardless of his actions that he's taken, he's still a very good competitor. So, like, the competitors teaming up could be a dangerous thing down the road, for sure.
Oh, yeah, I agree. But, yeah, I mean, I agree 100% with that. But, I mean, ultimately, I was just going to say, ultimately, all it did when he threw it and stopped, with the last, minute or 2 minutes, it just ultimately, that was where you see my bad, I can't even see the word, the distrust start to happen with his alliance. They're all kind of like, what is he doing? They're telling him, like, why are you stopping? Like, you still have 2 minutes to at least attempt. And, I mean, ultimately, if he I know we all know that his goal was for her to win the POV. He could have definitely have thrown it in a more believable fashion. At least, Jessica wouldn't have been, why are we throwing it in?
Yeah.
But I still like it because he, gave us him calling her Alex, which was.
So, Dakota brings up a good point in the comments. He was like, we're forgetting the best part. OG Kevin is in his mermaid costume.
Merman, man, merman.
That was hilarious. Like, because I'm pretty sure if I'm remembering right, I can't even talk. If I'm remembering right, in the feeds, were they talking about like Kevin was like, what kind of costumes am I gonna have to dress up? Am I gonna have to dress up like a mermaid? And Paul said something about dressing up like a mermaid. So it's just ironic that the fact that they end up, not ironic, it's coincidental, the fact that he ends up outside in a mermaid costume. But I want to I just want to talk about this for a second. Okay, let's talk about like after the veto, how like all of a sudden, and like this is kind of like spoiling a little bit. So if you don't have live feeds and you don't want to be spoiled, probably click away. But like let's talk about like the dynamics of the house now after like what happened, because we know, with live feeds and stuff exactly what happened. So can we just talk about that for a minute if that's cool?
Yeah. Well,
you can go ahead, Christian.
No, I was gonna say one thing before we talk about that though. The fight that Cody and Jessica had, like right in the HOH room, right after they had it, because I think this is an interesting topic. I thought it was stupid. Like I hated the scripted DR of Alex was like, I don't need no man to take care of me. This isn't The Bachelor or something like that. Or
yeah,
like, I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like stop with the scripted DRs. But
right.
Jessica was so pissed. Like it was bad. Like she was so upset. She's like, she was supposed to go home this week. I saw you through it. And I thought for being in a showmance, like you'd be honest with him, but you can tell Cody has no balls, and he was just like, no, I didn't do that. No, I swear I didn't do that.
Right.
He's like, I have to keep things to myself. I was like, bro, just tell her. Like, fuck. Like, she's already safe. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, this ties in right to like the dynamics. Okay, so basically, Jessica is freaking not playing the game for the game. She's playing for this showman's crap, and she's jealous of the fact that Cody respects another woman. Like, it's ridiculous. Okay, let me just get this out of the way now, okay? Because first of all, my preseason predictions, my preseason, all of my okay. If you go back and watch the draft episode, I made one, or it was one of our podcasts. I made one amazing prediction, and that was that I feel like somebody's gonna walk from the game, and I was spot on. I don't know where I just had that gut instinct. But besides that, every single prediction I made about this season was completely trash, and you guys can roast me in the comments for it. I thought Josh was gonna be some amazing amazing beast, and he like cracked week 1. He's turning it around. But I thought freaking Jessica was going to be like Janelle, and she just roast me in the comments. Get it out of the way now, because I was terrible at my freaking.
This man was obsessed.
I am embarrassed. I am embarrassed with my preseason predictions. But yeah, so basically Jessica is jealous of Alex, which is ridiculous because, I mean, it's ridiculous. But
Jessica's in the HOH room with him. If he wanted Alex, he'd be like, get out of my freaking room. Alex, come up here.
Exactly. And she should know that Cody's the type of person that if you continue to push his buttons, he's going to snap on you, and he's going to tell you to get the F out of his HOH room. So she's going to run into a big problem eventually with that whole jealousy thing.
All right. So, oh, wait, Jason. You remember the Jason thing? I thought this was ridiculous. Well, before the veto ceremony, Jason goes up to the HOH room to talk with Cody. To talk with Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Cody thinks he's like some fucking mastermind, like Dr. Will. He's like, all right. Like, he's actually speaking to Jason. I was kind of shocked, to be honest. I thought he was just going to sit there and be like,
yeah, I need 7 people in myself. I know it's a little lopsided, but
like,
safe.
you gotta put your people on the block. Because, like, I'm always empowered because, like, I always have this key around my neck.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was ridiculous.
So, basically, I'm just going to keep on reverting back to this fact. We have mediocre players in this house. Okay, another thing that separates a great Big Brother player from a failed Big Brother player is somebody who can execute a plan and execute a strategy. I think that Cody making deals and stuff is pretty smart, to be honest, because look, obviously he just made a deal to save his own, save himself next week, at least so he thought. He basically held Jason by the nuts and said, look, this is the deal I'm making, or else you're going on the block. And I feel like there's a chance next week Jason might actually kind of accept that deal. We'll see. But, like, Cody has the right ideas. But once again, the failed Big Brother players don't know how to execute their strategy. And point blank, Cody failed at executing a strategy is the best way I can explain it. I mean, honestly.
All right. Time for the veto ceremony. This might be the most lit. This might be the most lit veto ceremony like I've seen, besides the Dan one from BB14, the final finale. I rewatched that.
Hold on.
I rewatched that.
Let's save that because, like, when we get on that, we're going to talk for hours. I just want to go back to, okay, so basically we had that whole alliance, that huge, they called it the team or whatever. So it was 9 people. It was the 6 people in the Showmances, Dominique, Paul, and Christmas. The team, they were the ones in power, the big dogs in the house. So basically when Cody nominates Paul and Christmas, it blows up the sides. So basically the way that I see it now, at least, is we have Paul, Elena, Mark, Dominic, just a little side alliance going on.
And Christmas. Christmas.
Yeah, like that group. But you have
she's a huge part.
What you have is Paul and Christmas loyal to each other, right? That's what you have. You have Paul and Christmas, they're loyal to each other. Paul is still a little bit reluctant on, Mark and Matt. That's why I feel like if Paul wins HOH, he's putting up Matt and Mark and backdooring Cody. That's my gut. That's what my gut says. And that's what I feel like half the house is going to do, because the thing is, if you put Matt and Mark in a veto competition, one of them is going to win it, pull
100%. themselves
off the block, and puts Cody on the block. So that's what I feel like is going to happen next week. But, okay, so then you have Jason, Alex, and, Jillian, you had the little Outsiders Alliance, and then you have Cody and Jessica in the penthouse all by themselves, alone. Oh, how the tides have switched, how they have flipped. And next week, one of them is going home more than likely if Jessica doesn't pull out that HOH competition. What is your...
won't, because...
Yeah. Tyler, what's your, perspective on this, blow up in the alliance split?
I mean... I just personally feel like even if his whole plan, we all know, he doesn't like Paul from the first episode. He's like, I don't like Paul. He's not trustworthy. I feel like as long as he at least is honest with his alliance, I'm going to try to backdoor Paul. Maybe it doesn't create distrust with him and his alliance, but ultimately he just completely blindsided everybody in the house, even his own alliance. And that created the distrust. And I think strategically it was retarded. I mean, you lose 2 numbers that were on your side of the house that were not going after you. You could have, he
could have, if he would have sold. Okay, the only way that works is if he sells his alliance on it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, if he tells his alliance beforehand that, look, I'm putting Paul up, and here's why I'm doing it. If he can sell his alliance on it and they're in on it, all of a sudden it's a good plan. But the fact that he didn't tell anybody because he thinks that it's going to, Cody just is a flaw. He has a good strategy, but he just is he flaws in executing that strategy. That's the best way I can explain it. So, what are you doing, Cody?
I just feel like he overplayed. I just feel like he overplayed his cards too quickly. I feel like he just automatically assumed, hey, I'm in power. You're going to follow me. I'm the leader right now. I'm going to try to backdoor Paul. Let's just say Paul doesn't have the placement thing to keep himself. He's just automatically assuming, hey, they're going to vote out Paul because I want Paul out.
Right, and exactly. He, another thing with not telling anybody is he doesn't know if he has the votes. He puts up Christmas, but Christmas is not – okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that after.
Chill.
Yeah, you can go ahead and go to the veto ceremony.
All right. Okay, one also thing. You guys remember Josh and Ika's, this is also off topic. The interview before, how Josh is if I get somebody out of the house, I'm going to make sure I have the votes first. Bro, Paul's actually very, he's liked in the house. I thought that was so stupid to show his cards.
Yeah. He wouldn't even.
And also, Paul is trustworthy. What do you, I don't understand that at all. He has, it's just because of freaking friend. It's a friendship bracelet. It's a friendship bracelet. God.
He's very trustworthy. Paul is. If you're loyal to Paul, Paul's going to be loyal to you. But now, after Paul gets screwed week 1, we're going to see
you're done,
Paul. Paul's going to act like he's loyal to people, and he's going to blindside them. Paul's going to play a different game now. You watch.
All right, guys. Like I said, 5 minutes ago, the veto ceremony. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Okay, first we have Alex and Jillian on the block. I don't even think she asked Jillian if for blah blah blah. Do you want me to use it on you? Blah blah blah.
Yeah, no, she didn't.
Like they usually do. So Alex takes herself off the block, and I just thought this speech from Cody was so stupid. He's like, I've just been talking to everybody. that you're not trustworthy, like all this like mumbo jumbo. He's like, Paul, take a seat, and then you have the TV right there that just goes.
I know that was insane.
I was like,
that was insane. Like, okay, so first of all, I'll just comment on that speech because, oh gosh, what was that speech?
It
didn't make any sense. I still don't understand what he's talking about. Like this thread of conversations that he's had with people. All the conversations I've seen have never talked about Paul one time. So my mind is a little bit confused on that. And then when that necklace thing popped up on the screen, it was funny because every single person in like on the couches saw it before Cody did. So Cody thinks they're all just like, because Paul is like telling him like, you know, they're all like, what? Because they just put up Paul, but in reality they're saying what? Because this big freaking necklace thing is on the screen.
Like, look.
When Cody turns behind him, he was like it was just such a great moment. Like that was a pretty good move by production part to reveal that twist. Honestly, it's pretty good.
So I'm gonna a direct quote. He says the person he wants to nominate has sown distrust and suspicion, and then he says, "Paul, take a seat." Blah blah blah. Paul, I swear, I thought Paul was just gonna like charge this man real quick. He's just like punch him square in the jaw.
I know the way Paul.
He was so.
I feel like
I've never seen him like that.
No, but
right,
I think when Cody was giving the speech, he's like the distrust and all this. I feel like Paul actually did have a suspicion, like I'm gonna be on the block.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be funny because I have the safety for 3 weeks, and you're gonna be looking like an idiot. Mm-hmm. And then having to nominate a fifth person, and then that's going to show your allies, our alliance, that you're not trustworthy, and you're pretty much blindsiding the whole house, and then you just made yourself an even bigger target. I mean,
yeah.
So it was definitely lit. I feel like Jessica, Mark, Elena, Dominique's, Paul's, Christmas's, everybody's just facial reaction was just. It was crazy.
Elena was still there. She was still there after they left. She was like sitting like.
Right. So basically what happened was, you know, Cody's giving a speech and he says he nominates Paul, right? This is for people that, you know, maybe didn't see it. Says, okay, I nominate Paul. Then all of a sudden his necklace that he won for the temptation popped up on the screen. And we just have like a stare down between like Cody and Paul for like 10 seconds. Like Paul was just like, they made the cool sound effects. Like Paul stood up and it was like, doom. And then he like turned his head real quick to Cody and it was like, doom. It was cool editing, but yeah. Basically the pendant, and then he announced what it was and said that Cody would have to name a fifth nominee. This is where the interesting part comes in because, you know, you would be like, okay, maybe he's going to nominate Jason. Maybe he's going to go back to the plan and nominate somebody like Ramses or something like this. No, he puts up Christmas because, like, okay, basically he made the deals already, so he couldn't put Jason and Alex up. He made those deals. He would just be going back on the deals, you know what I mean? So I thought he was going to put up Ramses in that scenario, like, because he didn't make a deal with Ramses. He just kind of, like, said, I'm not going to put you up, but, like, I got a plan. I got you. You know what I mean? I got you.
Yeah.
If you got – it wasn't, like, a deal or whatever. So, like, I thought he was going to put up Ramses, but he puts up freaking Christmas. And
did it.
Everybody in the house is just like, what? Like, whoa. Like, this is completely – like out of nowhere. Oh, I just straight up.
Wait, Christian, can you pull up what he says to Christmas? Because it was pretty funny. He was like, something. I don't remember exactly what he said.
Oh, he goes. I got it. He was like, well, he was shaking his head and he was like, well, Christmas, you got screwed. And then take a seat. Who does he think? Like, take a seat. Like, what? Who do you think you are,
bro? Dude? You're only HOH for 1 week, bro. Like, it's literally been 15 days. Like, hell out of here.
If, like I said on Twitter, I was like, if HOH was to get the most blood on your hands, Cody's doing one hell of a job.
Yeah, he's nominated. Like he said, he's nominated the third of his house. Part of it not his own fault, but part of it is his fault. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, so when he nominates Christmas, it sends the freaking house into shockwaves. Like everybody's just like, what? Like whoa. So here's where we got. So we got Jillian and Christmas on the block. Who's going home? Like, who's going home? I still, like, a lot of people think it's locked in and solid that Jillian's going home. I still think it's up in the air potentially.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's changing every day. You go ahead first. I'll let you go.
I was just gonna say it's 7-5. Just remember that, guys. Like, it's Like it's like right
what
there.
you think? That's
Like,
what you think? Oh yeah, 7-5.
no. That's what I know.
No, okay. Here's how I think it's gonna go. Okay, there's a number of ways this can go. It can go 7-5 in favor of Jillian going home, or it could go 6-6. Okay, here's the reason why.
Yeah.
Kevin, Jason, I would say they got about a 96% chance at both of them voting out Christmas. If Mark flips, which Mark has kind of showed his loyalty to Christmas, but he's also showed his loyalty to Cody. So who knows what Mark's really going to do, because tomorrow Jessica could say, look, we have the votes. You need to vote out Mark. You need to vote out Christmas so that she goes home. Mark might do it. So it's like this could get really interesting. And we all know if it's 6-6, sorry, Christmas, but she's going home.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be an intense live eviction. It's either going to be 7-5 in favor of Christmas staying, or it's going to be 6-6 in favor of her going home, which is unfortunate.
And onto that, where you're talking about Mark, that's really going to show Mark's cards.
Right.
I mean, ultimately, it's going to show everybody's cards in a sense, but he's either going to have to say, do I want to work with Paul, Christmas, Elena, and do I want to, vote with Elena, my showmans, or do I want to try to show loyalty to Jessica and Cody? It's ultimately going to be like, he's going to have to decide, who do I want to work with long term? Who do I see, getting me the farthest, and who's ultimately the most trustworthy? Then you have Kevin. Like, I don't know why, but Kevin earlier in this week, he was like the sole one that was going to be voting with, for Christmas to stay. He was like buddy with Paul, and then I'm on Twitter scrolling through my feeds, and I see he's now going to vote out Christmas. Like, I was.
Yeah,
a little shocked about that.
Kevin is an absolute wild card. Like, Kevin's the type of guy that's just going to do whatever he wants to do, not let anybody influence him. And he's going to tell the person what they want to hear. So basically, he's going to vote out Christmas, and then after the show, go to Paul and say, I don't know what happened. I voted her out.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
I didn't know how you were supposed to vote him out. I accidentally said the wrong name.
It's going to be so unfortunate because Josh is going to end up getting blamed for it.
That conversation I heard, I wasn't watching feeds today because I had work, but I saw Kevin was talking to Paul, and he said, I vote for Christmas, and he's like, no, you don't say that, you don't say that.
Yeah.
I'm like, if this man does like a topaz, but like with an actual vote, I vote for Christmas to leave Christmas. Oh my God.
Kevin's smart. Like,
Kevin's an OG, guys. I'm keeping to that. Kevin's awesome.
I really like Josh. I like how he is talking to Cody, talking to Jessica. He's lying to him, like, yo, yeah, I'm gonna vote out Christmas, blah blah blah.
He's like, I'll keep you safe, Josh. I hated that. He's like, I'll keep you safe, Josh, if you vote our way. I was like, how are you gonna do that?
Yeah,
He's got a game player mentality. If he can get his social game down, which he's slowly turning it around, like doing what Christmas told him to do, like cooking, cleaning, like just minding in his own business, not getting into any fights. Just if he can get that in, and then he turns the gameplay up, he's jury. He can go to the end. But the problem is, has he already damaged his image so bad that if he gets to the end next to somebody, are they going to say, "Oh, Josh is an idiot. He didn't do anything." You know what I mean? That could be the problem. But
I feel like
it's only been 2 weeks, so your perception of somebody can't really be permanent for the first 2 weeks of the way they acted. But
ultimately, I feel like if he votes Jillian out, first off, let's just say he goes and relays the message that he has with Jessica and Cody back to Paul. That's gaining Paul's trust. So if he votes out Jillian, he's then garnishing 2 allies with Christmas and Paul. Paul's a very prone person to win power. He's a phenomenal competitor. Christmas, obviously, had she not hurt her foot, she definitely was going to be a beast in the comps.
Oh, we got to talk about that. Oh my gosh!
I feel like if he votes out Jillian, he garnishes the 2 allies with Christmas and Paul, and then he wins HOH this coming up. I feel like he's in a phenomenal position. Maybe not the best position in the house, but he's definitely in one of the best positions. And then he could definitely
I don't see at this point he's so he's developed such into under the radar that I don't know if winning HOH is good or a bad thing. I feel like it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good thing. If he wins HOH is a good thing, but also 2 days ago he had to win HOH or he was going home, whereas now he doesn't have to win HOH. He's not going home next week. I will make the bold statement and say unless some temptation happens where everybody's safe, like a certain amount of people are safe, Josh is not going home. Like he's not going home. There's such bigger targets than Josh.
Let's say Jessica wins HOH. I don't know. Who is she nominating?
She's gonna put up Elena and probably like Elena and
Alex.
She did say that,
but she's backdooring Alex. She'll probably put up Elena and Jason.
Yeah, you're right. She said she was gonna use Elena as a pawn to scare
her or whatever. So dumb. Like she's playing petty.
I'm
not petty to Mark or to Aika. I'm not petty. Then she gets in the house and does the exact opposite of what she said she wasn't going to do.
It sucks.
Oh, gosh.
So if you guys don't have live feeds, one of the huge things that happened, it was yesterday, right?
Yesterday morning? No.
Sunday.
What's today? What is today? Wednesday? It was
Wednesday.
Monday. It was Monday morning.
So, guys, Christmas broke her foot. I think it was around 7 a.m. their time. And it pissed me off so much because it wasn't like it wasn't even like working out. It was Jason. No. It was freaking Whistle Nut.
Do you guys know the story? Do you guys know the story? So basically the song, like they play songs in the morning, like to wake the house guests up. It was around 10. It was around 10, I think, 10 a.m. their time. Because it was whenever Big Brother was waking them up. And basically the song Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy came on. And they call Whistle Nut a cowboy, so she jumps on Whistle. She jumps on Whistle Nut's back. She jumps on Whistle Nut's back, and the AstroTurf was so moist from like just the morning dew or whatever, and he slipped on the AstroTurf somehow and landed on her and broke her foot. So just like I cannot wait to see it on because it was during like nobody saw it because it was fished like during the live because they were playing a song, so it was fish. But like whenever they show it on the show, it's gonna be so funny. But yeah, basically, she broke her foot and she's not gonna be able to compete in anything.
And the funny thing is like he didn't even seem like he really cared either, and he's still gonna vote her out too. He's like he at least he should at least give her a vote and be like, listen.
Yeah. Hey, I broke your foot. I'm sorry. I probably ended your CrossFit career. But hey,
wait, didn't he like after he did it like the two people like carried her to the thing and
he went to bed.
Yeah.
He is freaking OG Savage. Whistle Nut, bro. Whistle Nut.
Like lately he's been getting really paranoid, but like for the past like 3 days, I thought he was playing an okay game. Like he's woke in like his thoughts. He knows what's going on. He's not like blinded by Paul. He's not blinded by anything that's going on. You know what I mean? But lately he's been kind of way too paranoid. Ow. He's been getting way too paranoid in like the way that he's been thinking. So I don't know. It should be interesting. His gameplay. I thought he was playing pretty good the last few days, but he's been getting paranoid. Who knows?
Guys, I'm gonna ask you guys one by one. Start with Tyler. Who's playing the? We can't do best. Who's like the top two players right now? Yeah, who's in the two best positions in the house? Tyler, you start.
I'm gonna go Kevin. I feel like he's probably
OG Kevin. OG.
My Merman. Socially, he's the best player. I think he's positioned decently. Obviously, he's gonna have to show his cards on whether he votes Christmas or Jillian. But like what Jalen said, I think if that happens, Josh will get the blame for it. And then Paul, I think from right now, from what we see, Paul's playing a good game. But it also could be the fact of the matter that he has safety for 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's getting too aggressive.
People are willing to. What really is surprising me, I was watching RHAP's live. I don't remember live podcast. I don't know if it was yesterday or 2 days ago. And I think it was Taryn. He was like, Paul's very abrasive with the way that he's speaking with these house guests, and it doesn't seem like it's rubbing the people off. I was like,
it started to today. It started to
yeah.
His abrasiveness started to rub him the wrong way today, which we'll get to. Yeah, I'll talk about it. Don't worry.
Okay.
So Paul and Kevin, I'd say probably the best. I thought Dominique, but
that's good.
This is so interesting for me because
what?
No. Well, I'm saying before she had got made enemies, like
no. Wait, no, what? Whoa, I didn't even know that. I was about to say Dominique. I was like, bro, Dominique's playing the best game. I haven't heard anybody say her fucking name like whatsoever. I heard like,
okay,
like whatsoever. What?
Well, Jason's targeting her, but okay, so.
Okay, right. That's Jason. Jason can't win crap.
Yeah, but didn't Ramsey start?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are onto her, but just not onto her quite yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
that's
she's
why I felt like she was really playing the best game at that time until I heard. I like posted on Twitter. I was like, "Oh yeah, Dominique's in the best position." I got attacked by some Jessica fans who were like, "No, Dominique's she's gonna be threatened," and I was like, "All right, I'm sorry." Like, I'll just say Kevin is then.
Okay, for me, this was kind of interesting because even Kevin, I think if Josh has a big day tomorrow, because if he can continue to convince, Christmas and Paul that he's voting Christmas out to the point where they're like, by leaking that conversation that he had with Cody and Jessica to Paul, that was huge. That was huge because Paul can piece that together, after the eviction. Even if he wants to blame Josh, he can say, well, why in the world would Josh tell me what happened if he was like evicting Christmas? You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense. So if Josh can continue to, tell Paul and Christmas and keep them like comfortable, if Josh doesn't get blamed for a vote tomorrow that he didn't do, I think Josh is in the best position in the house. Next, Kevin. I love the position Kevin's in, but I think he might starting to pick a side a little bit, whereas earlier he was playing in the middle. Today he kind of started shifting towards Jason and Alex and started diverting away from Paul. And I think Dominique is in one of the best positions in the house. Should be interesting. She's got a very tough couple of weeks ahead of her, but if she can survive these next couple of weeks, she's going to be in a great position. So I would say it's a tie for me. You got Josh, Kevin, and what's her name? Dominique.
Ask the people in the comments who they think too.
Yeah, everybody post who you think. All right, for me, I still think Dominique's in the hands down the best position of the house. It's just if Kevin sways to Jason and Alex, he's gone. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Also, Matt. There you go, Matt.
He's going up next week.
What about?
No, he's not. Don't say that. He's chilling. He's chilling.
How do you guys feel Mark's positioned? I don't think
he's going up next week.
Oh yeah, but like
I don't.
His showmance with Elena's gonna get it. It's just gonna go badly south because him and Dominique are tight and they're starting to like form like feelings that kind of feel. And Elena already doesn't like I feel like Elena was just like all about like the chase, but like once she caught, so. There's people that like to. I'm gonna do a complete analogy on this. There's people that like to fish, not just to catch the fish. They just want to catch the fish, and they don't really care. They just want to give the fish back out. They're not keeping the fish for like eating it. They just like the thrill. They like the thrill of catching the fish. Same thing with Elena. She wanted the thrill of getting Mark, and now she doesn't really want him. You know what I mean? Like that showmance is gonna end badly. That's the only thing. I'm not gonna speak highly of anybody in a showmance. That's just my opinion. And Matt,
unless you're Dr. Will, then you
exactly.
Yeah, Dr. Will did it well.
Exactly. Mike Boogie too, but I mean.
Oh, Mike Boogie proposed.
Well, I'm talking about Eric and S7.
Oh, dude, 7 was great. All right,
that was some his DR.
So let's go. I'm just thinking. What live feed moments do you guys want to just talk about? That have kind of just blown you away.
We talking about just game, or we could talk about just things that we found entertaining.
And
we
found entertaining.
I really like Dominique's little show thing that she did and had it like Kevin and Mark.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
I'm just gonna make this bold statement. The live feeds have been pretty boring lately. Like I'm just gonna throw that out there. Like okay. Her show was interesting and whatnot, and I think she's doing it again tonight. But if the feed is not on Kevin and his like crazy statements, it's boring. It's like we saw a little bit today. Paul was getting like way too like over aggressive. Like he's trying to flip people. He's trying to flip Jason. He's trying to flip Kevin, and it's just not happening. And he's like pushing a little too hard. I think Paul might get netted like where he's safe for this amount of time, and then once his safety goes away, boom, he's gone.
Yeah, he needs to really not allow that power.
He's safe. He just needs to sit back and literally float. Like when you're safe, that's what you do. Sit back and float. Don't care about what happens. Reassess your situation whenever you get to where you are. You know what I mean? Because bottom line, you can't go up, you can't go home. So let them do what they want to do, let them push their buttons, and then form allies whenever you are unsafe. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and another thing that I don't like is the fact that he can compete in competitions. Because if you're safe, you shouldn't be able to be HOH or have any sort of power, in my opinion, if you're already safe, right? Like, isn't that just common
I
sense?
agree. I feel like if he has the 3 weeks immunity, then he should definitely not be able to participate in HOH or the POV. I definitely agree with that.
That's just my opinion. Like,
let's talk about Paul's little puppet master dance he put on after talking to Alex.
I don't know.
Hey, there you go.
I don't know. He's not really being a puppet master because he was almost backdoored this week. So,
I feel like he really thinks that he's really getting people on board. And I mean, I guess you can give him a tiny bit credit, but I would give more so it's Christmas's social game that's really kind of garnishing the votes. But I mean, hey, allow Paul to really think that, and then he's gonna be screwed after his 3 weeks immunity, and then realize
the thing you guys were saying about Paul is how I feel like he's really he's grown a huge connection with Christmas. So he's really worried.
Yeah,
because I feel
I agree with that.
That's like his victor. Like I feel like if he loses, he says he has to assess. Well, you don't want to lose your best ally, a person you know that has your back 100%. But he is playing way too hard. But it's kind of just hard to judge because Christmas is his number one ally.
Yeah, I agree. I see why he's campaigning so hard. Obviously, he did just get a knife put in his back. That's obviously a big reason he wants Christmas to stay too. He wants to be like.
He handled it really well, though. I'll just say he did handle it really well.
Yeah, but I mean,
I feel like it was a shot in the foot. I feel like it was a shot in the foot more than a backstab because that man was safe. So
he definitely needs to just plant seeds, not push too hard for it, because then it's really going to turn people off. Jalen, you said today that it was turning people off. I wasn't really watching feeds today, so I'm not.
Yeah, well, there was a moment basically where Paul was screaming and talking about. He had just got done interrogating Jason and Kevin about their vote. And he was screaming about the past season, and Kevin and Jason were sitting on the side, and they were Kevin was when he talks about other seasons, it's really annoying. We're 2 days ago, Kevin had nothing bad to say about Paul, so you can kind of just see this. The gears are kind of moving. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
it's gonna crash and burn. That's my feeling. My gut says Paul is gonna crash and burn.
Yeah, he definitely. I feel like it's really working with Elena and Raven specifically, though. I feel like they're really gravitating towards.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And I feel like the whole thing that he continuously brings up, the whole vet thing, it's really going to either be detrimental to his game, or it seems like right now that it's kind of making the people trust him more in a sense, but we don't really know. He has 3 weeks immunity. People are definitely going to seem like they trust you. Who knows whether that's really – that's what I'm saying. You can't really say how Paul's really positioned in the house right now because he has safety. So how do we really –
So nobody's going to mention – no, okay – you would be so dumb to throw Paul's name out right now because the people that are going to get far in the game are going to be the people that latch to Paul right now. He has safety. He's playing with no fear right now. He can throw anybody's name out without the fear of getting targeted. I would latch to Paul right now, ride his coattails, and see how far that gets you because he's safe.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Latch to him.
100%. But
the people that make Paul his enemies in these 3 weeks are going to be the people that end up not going far. Just my opinion.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I think it's I agree 100% with what you're saying. But like you said earlier, the whole house guests are definitely not some next legend type players. So I mean, we're gonna have to just deal with.
If Paul gets past Final 7, these people are dumb.
Oh yeah, I agree. It's just with Nicole in Big Brother 18. She should not have been going that far.
At least there were 3 other vets to kind of shield her. This time there's one vet. He should have been backdoored week 1, which he was, but he had safety.
If you really think about it, he's playing the same game he kind of played in Big Brother 18. He's very abrasive. He's very aggressive. He's loud. He's obnoxious. He's really trying to work his social game.
I love it.
I don't know. I like Paul.
He's going to have to change, though. He's gonna
I'm
change.
I'm never gonna trash Paul. I always stand Paul. I don't really care what he does. I have to stand with him.
I was a huge Paul fan. He was my preseason fave from Big Brother 18. I stuck by him from the beginning all the way to the end. I think he can really go far in this game. He just really needs to recalculate and downplay his game. Do not push too many people because then it's really going to turn people off. And then when a 3 weeks immunity, they're going to be like, hey, let's try to backdoor him. I don't think they'll put him on the block because he has a very good chance of winning.
Okay.
This man just jumped out of his seat. Jalen's like,
because something
he's like,
just
all
clicked.
right, we about to get real. Yeah.
Something just clicked in my mind. Like, I know we're almost done here. We're running out of things to talk about, but this just clicked in my mind. So, like, I think there's in every HOH comp, there's going to be like a safety thing. Remember last week how Josh was like the coward for going for safety? You think like Jessica will go for it?
I mean,
she goes for it. Somebody got to tackle her, 100%.
Wait.
Elena just runs up and just like double checks her.
I mean, I don't think it's really. I mean, I guess in a sense it's necessary because if like, but even if they're really trying to backdoor Cody, like that doesn't really like. I don't see it really being that important.
I don't know because you could take the route of put up Matt and Mark and backdoor him, or you could take the route of just putting Jessica and Cody up. One of them goes home, guaranteed. Because if you put Matt and Mark up, the chances of Jessica and Cody not getting drawn, and then the chances of Jessica winning POV and taking, there's too many like things that could go wrong in that scenario, in my opinion. So
I feel like let's say we're in the next eviction. Let's say Cody goes home. I think someone like Paul really needs to gravitate towards Jessica because she's gonna be very weak. She's gonna be very weak in by herself.
Hey. Showmance.
I think the best thing for her right now is Cody going home. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, because he's definitely the whole showmance with her and him is definitely just drawing unnecessary targets. So not only Jessica but Cody, and it's definitely bringing down Jessica's popularity. Yeah, but right. I mean, and she's definitely really disliked by everybody in the house, from what I've seen. I'm not saying, but I mean, it's really
okay.
I got something to say.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, guys, if you haven't seen it yet, I'm pretty sure everybody's seen it in the house, guys.
Oh, no. Guys, no.
Yeah, we have a chef in the house, and Raven cooked some pork chops. My boy Jalen's tweet went famous. This man got like 80 likes, 23 retweets or something like that. This man's tweet went famous. Okay, Raven, what are you doing? I tweeted, I was like, Raven, just because you have a have-not pass doesn't mean you can food poison everybody else in the house.
Hey, it's strategy. It could work.
Here's my theory.
I mean, Jessica and Cody didn't eat the food, so
here's my theory. You know how like whenever you like cook, you have to like preheat the oven to get it hot. My theory is she forgot to preheat the oven, so whenever she put it in, it didn't have like the right cooking that it should have had. So it just came out a little raw. That's all. But
just a little bit.
You know, like I didn't want to prejudge her cooking or whatever, but you know it's raw whenever the onions and because like whenever you bake onions or whatever, they like lose their whiteness. They become clear. You know what I mean? And the peppers would shrink up and like become, you know, not like freaking humongous peppers. The onions were still pale white.
Bro, the onions look like she just cut them and put them on the fucking tray. Oh my god.
The pork chops looked like they still had like this slimy skin like on it. Like, oh gosh.
Bro, that mac and cheese though. That mac and cheese, bro, they were roasting it. They're like, how is mac and cheese wet and dry at the same time? I was like, what? I was like, you gotta be kidding me. That was one of my favorite live feed moments of the day. I thought that was hilarious. Bro. I thought.
And didn't Big Meech shout you out, Jalen? Didn't she like?
Yeah. She quoted my tweet. Yeah, it was funny. My freaking Twitter was blowing up all day. Just people were quoting it. It was like, what is this? What is that? Like it was hilarious.
She's like, everybody's just like,
they were just roasting her.
Boy.
Okay, so I guess we can get out of here on that note. But before we go, let's just go one by one and say who we think's going home. My predictions have been trash, so I'm just going to get mine out of the way. And probably you can bet whatever my prediction is, the opposite person's going home. I'm going to say Jillian's going home. That's my opinion. Tyler, next. Who do you think's going home?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Jillian's going to go home. Sorry, Jillian. Goodbye.
So
What do you think,
Guys,
Christian?
I've been thinking about this a lot. I have a crush on Christmas, to be honest. She'd bench press me though, but I she
Not
like
with her
she
broken
rep.
foot. Not with her broken
No,
foot.
dude, she still can do it. She'll be like one leg in the air, just like repping it out.
Dude, can you imagine?
Guys,
All right, hold on. Let's just say this. Okay, you're telling a story to your great grandkids, right? Yeah. So this song "Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy" came on, and I got on the cowboy, and I just broke my. Like, can you imagine?
I broke my foot.
Oh gosh, the irony of it all. It's just so funny. The editing is going to be so great. It's going to be so great.
So I really do think that Jillian's going home. She's got to go home, or she'll break Victoria's record for most times on the block.
Oh yeah. I think
Victoria's a queen. She doesn't need any records broken, man. She's a queen.
Why does Jillian keep on getting this idea that she's like been up, like had the you've only been up against this amount of people, but that doesn't mean that. I think it'd be easier to face multiple people over. Like, I don't know. It's weird because you're not having one person campaign against you the entire week.
Is she even campaigning? Like, I haven't seen her campaign. Like, it's so sad. Like, take the step and get.
We all knew
We
all knew that she was going to be first boot. Like, that's one prediction I probably got right, was Jillian being first boot.
Well, third technically, but hey, nah. First real eviction. She's just gonna go bop 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 out the door.
Hashtag bring Cameron back.
Yeah, let's bring him back.
I cannot wait for this buyback competition. They're gonna have, like, if there's a buyback and it's like Cameron, Jillian, and Cody, I'm gonna be pissed.
Oh yeah, because Cody's definitely winning, right? He's like,
yeah.
Cameron wins technically. Just wait.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for the great show. Another great show. We'll be back tomorrow. I don't know what time. What time is the episode? 9 or 8?
9, and then it ends at 10.
Okay, so
make sure to like and subscribe.
Oh, Dominic just comes out.
My boy Dominic back. Hey, make sure to like and subscribe. Get us to 1.5K views on this post right here. Follow us all on Twitter. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
we miss Malcolm. Malcolm, win that HOH competition, boy. We miss you guys. We out.
He pretty much covered it. So see you guys tomorrow at what, 10? Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow at 10:15ish. All right, peace out.
Guys.